During the last week of my time in St. Petersburg, I found Siberian Airlines with flights to Novosibirsk over the Ural Mountains and halfway to Tuva. The Siberian Air representative would work on finding a seat on a booked flight on Tuvaskaya Airlines from Novosibirsk to Tuva, possibly a jump seat. Stewardesses. I stopped in front of the St. Petersburg Ethnographic Museum to talk with a guy wearing a coat made of something familiar yet unrecognizable. He told me it was a salmon skin leather. Siberian Airlines got me a flight to Tuva a few hours before I was leaving. They told me over and over again, so I wouldn't forget or curse their names, you must transfer to another airport once in Novosibirsk to connect with the flight to Kyzyl. You must transfer to another airport. You must transfer. Do you know the way to Tuva? The heading? Every time my eyes closed while on the 11 p.m. Siberian air flight, I drifted back to another late-night party with other writers in St. Petersburg, sounds and lights blurring together with my friends' smiles and close-up, then all disappearing as in a dream or on an astral plane tour, which I wasn't sure. Arriving in a new time zone, which brought the 4-hour flight landing at 7 a.m. in Novosibirsk, I collected my luggage along with 3 other pushing and shoving travelers. The cab drivers on the street didn't seem to understand my questions about finding the connecting airport for the flight to Kyzyl. Following the words of J.P. Orridge, to force the hand of chance in favor of self-creation rather than submissive reaction, I sat on a bench away from the crowds and relaxed and breathed deep for a moment. From a distance, I noticed one person in the crowd I was certain would know how I could get to the other airport. I walked up to this black-haired woman and asked, Kyzyl, do you know the way to Kyzyl, how I get to the other airport to catch a flight? Then I moved one hand as if it was an airplane taking off. The woman said, I am from Kyzyl. She was shocked that I found her among the throngs and gestured to imply that she was waiting for the plane from Moscow to arrive with someone she was expecting. She would drive this person to the next airport for a flight to Kyzyl, and I could go too. At least that's what I thought she was. From behind me, I heard English spoken. I turned around to find 2 conservatively dressed Americans from Utah who said, we do not speak Russian, but you could borrow our NATO translator. They pushed a man in a suit towards me. I read his name tag that included the words NATO Russian translator. He translated the black-haired woman named Olga as saying, I'm waiting for my niece. Once she arrives from Moscow, you can join us as we drive to my apartment, eat breakfast, and take naps. Around 1 p.m., we will drive to the other airport for the plane to Kyzyl. My niece must get on that flight too. While waiting for Olga's niece to arrive, I talked to a NATO member with white hair from the Czech Republic who arrived on an overnight flight too. He was exhausted and had to give a speech at 9 a.m. that morning. I talked to him about conserving energy. He appreciated my advice, and as the NATO group gathered to leave, he said to me, let's go, come on now. I said, I'm not in NATO. I'm on my way to Kyzyl, Tuva, to meet shamans. He waved his arm insistently and said, "That doesn't matter. You're with us now. Let's go." I was at a crossroads. Do I continue on to meet shamans in Kyzyl, or go to a NATO meeting in Novosibirsk? NATO or shamans? I chose the shamans. At Olga's place, we had a conversation passing her Russian to English dictionary back and forth, and with her kids who were attending summer school to learn English. Olga said, "How do you feel about being a woman traveling alone? Aren't you scared?" And I said, "Yes." Olga said, "Though you must be magic. How else would you find me, the one person from Tuva in the crowd of hundreds at the airport?"